Hi, in this session we will discuss SAP EWM, that is SAP Extended Warehouse Management. So first of all, what is EWM? EWM is a part of SAP SCM, that is the Supply Chain Management Suite of solutions. It is an integrated software platform for providing the flexible and the automated support for the processing goods movement and for managing your inventory. It will provide the firms the ability to control their warehouse processes and the management of movements in the warehouse. It will help them to mitigate the problems and the issues with the enhanced warehouse efficiency. It will help them to an adaptive fulfillment supply chain that can share its resources. Now earlier we were having SAP WM. So how SAP EWM is different from SAP WM? So SAP EWM is similar to WM functionality, but it is providing more flexibility in terms of building the objects like warehouse structures, picking, putaway, HU, RF and many more. And the new things which are introduced as part of SAP EWM are the activity areas, work centers and the resources. Now EWM is not the replacement for WM, but it is more robust alternative. So similar to the SAP WM, EWM is also the part of the SAP SCM, that is the supply chain management. Now we have different activities which we can do using the EWM. So this slide is just showing you the process, that is the inbound and the outbound process, which is the part of SAP EWM. So in the above part we can see the outbound process, which means that the goods are moving out of our warehouse. Though it starts with the final storage bins and then the object is moving out. Then the second part we have the inbound delivery. Inbound delivery means that we are getting the goods inside. It means that we will be getting the goods from outside and we will be placing it in our warehouse. So in this session we will be covering the inbound processes, like how we can create the purchase order, how we can create the inbound delivery. So all these things we will be discussing. So to start with, we will first log in to the ERP system, wherein we will be creating a purchase order. So I'll be logging into the ECC, that is the ERP system, with my user ID. So now once you are in your ERP system, so the first step is that you have to create a purchase order for an inbound delivery. If you are using the inbound process in EWM, then we have to have the purchase order first. So how we do that? We have to go to the logistics, and then in the material management we have the option of purchasing. If you will expand that, we have to click on this purchase order and then the create. Now we have the vendor supplying plant known. So we will be using this option to create a first purchase order. So as soon as we will double click this, now we have to enter certain information about this purchase order on this screen. So this is similar to the purchase order screen which we usually use in the ERP system. So this the things which we need to enter while creating a PO is like, what will be my vendor. So in this case I will be using my vendor 100506. Then what is the document date? By default it will take the document date as today's date. Then we have to enter the header information about this, that is what is the purchasing organization, what is the company code. So my purchasing organization is RP01 and my company code which I will be using in this example is RJ00. Now once I have filled this information, like who will be my vendor, what will be my document date, what is the purchasing organization and what is the company code. Now we have to enter the information like what will be my material, like what I am trying to purchase from the market. So we have to enter the material. In my case I will be using this one. Then it will automatically take the short text once we will click on it. So we have to it is telling that we have to enter the purchasing group. So my purchasing group is 000. So this information should be known to you already. Now we can see that it has automatically picked up the short text from the material description what we have given, material number what we have given. Then we have to enter the purchase order quantity, like how much quantity I want to order. So say I want to enter the 100 quantities. I want to get the 100 quantities for this material. Then what will be the delivery date? So the delivery date you can give any, but it has to be like more than today's date or today date. So I'm just giving the 3rd of August here. Then we have the net price. So net price and every other information it has taken automatically. Then what is the plant? So my plant is RPL 1. Then we have the storage location. So I have to enter the storage location here. Now I have to enter my store location. So once we have entered the plant information, then the next is the store location. So my store location is ROD1. Now we will just see that we have entered the complete information. So we can just scroll and we can see that few of the information is auto-filled. Then we then comes to the item detail. Now in the item detail we have the different tabs here. So the first one is the material data, which is telling me about the material group and like the information about the material what I have chosen. Then we have the quantities and the weights. So like what is the PO quantity I'm ordering, and all these other information you will be getting in the quantities and weights. Then we have the delivery schedule. So delivery schedule will take this delivery date what you have entered at the time of entering the record. Then we have the delivery. In the delivery we have like different options, goods receipt, and all these options are there. So for the PO creation we don't need all these options to be filled. Then we have the invoice. Similarly we can go to these different tabs and we can see the details, like in the conditions we can see all the pricing elements. Then we have the account assignment. Similarly we have this text and the delivery address. So we can go to the delivery address. We can see that what is the address for this. Now we can see that the name is this and the street, district, all this address information is filled for us. Then we have the confirmations. In the confirmations we have the confirmation control type. So for the confirmation control we have all these options available, that is the confirmations delivered, inbound delivery ECC. So since I am using this inbound delivery ECC, so I am selecting this one. Now once this is selected, the information is entered, then we have to click on the save option. So as soon as I will click on the save, it will create a purchase order. So we can see here that the standard PO created under the number this. So we have to make note of this number every time when we are creating a new purchase order, because we will be using this purchase order number later on. So I will just make a note of this purchase order number. So now once the purchase order is created, then we can go to the display purchase order and we can see that a purchase order is created. So now again we have to go to the logistics, material management, purchasing, and under the purchase order we will click on this display. Now it is automatically showing our purchase order. So it automatically takes the last order which is created, and that's why it is automatically showing this one. Now we also have one transaction for creating the PO as well as for displaying the PO. So for creating the PO we have the transaction which is ME21. So in this transaction we can create a purchase order, and we can also if we want to create a purchase, or if we don't want to create a purchase order from scratch, rather we want to copy it from another one. So what we can do is that we can go to this transaction and we have this option available here, that is copy document. So we can click on this copy document, and here we have to enter that reference document number. So once we will enter that reference document number, it will automatically take that document detail and it will say I want to use this one. Now once I will enter the reference document number here, then we can either extend that or we can create a new purchase order. So say if I want to create a new purchase order, so I will just click on this new purchase order and I can change the document date here, and I can change all the details what I want to. Then I have to save this purchase order. So there are two ways of creating the purchase order. Either we can create it from scratch or we can copy it from the another one. Then we have another transaction. So the one way to display the purchase order is to go from the home page, or we have a transaction which is called ME23. So if we go to this ME23, we will be able to see the transaction, the purchase order which we have just created. So this is the purchase order number which we have just created. So we can either see the overview of it or we can see the header details. So say if I want to see the header details for this purchase order, so I can see that I have created this purchase order. The vendor is there, the company code is this, the whole information what we have entered on the create purchase order screen. Similarly, now once the purchase order is created, so the next step is now we have to create the inbound delivery. Like now how we can create the inbound delivery is that we have to go to the logistics. Then under the logistics we have this logistics execution. So once we will extend this logistics execution, we will be able to see the option here. It is taking some time to open up. So basically from this logistics execution, we can either create it for the inbound process or for the outbound process. So both we need to create from the logistic execution. So since we are following up for the inbound process first, so I will expand the inbound process, and inside the inbound process we will get the option of creating an inbound delivery. Now we have to click on this goods receipt for inbound delivery. So once this goods receipt for inbound delivery is open, then we have to create an inbound delivery. So we have to expand this inbound delivery, then create for single documents. So just double click this create for single documents. So similar to the purchase order, we have a different transaction for the inbound delivery as well. So I'll just show you in a while. Now once we have created, once we have clicked on create the inbound delivery, we will be able to see this screen. In this screen, since we are creating this inbound delivery for the purchase order which we have just created, so we can see the vendor and the purchase order information already populated. If not, then we have to enter this information ourselves. Then we have to enter this delivery date. It will pick up from the purchase order itself. Then we have to click on this enter, and it will open up the screen wherein we will be able to see the shipping notification details. So it is telling that in the item overview I can see that what is the item I'm ordering for, what is the all detail for it, what is the shipment detail. If I go to the shipment tab, I will be able to see what is the shipment detail. Similarly, we have like unload, stock placement, status overview. So we can traverse to all these tabs to get more information about this purchase order and the inbound delivery. So from here we can see the shipment details. Now if I go to the stock placement, so in the stock placement I will be able to see the details like what will be the my warehouse number. So all these things will be I can check from the stock placement. Now once we have done all these things, then we have to click on this save. As soon as we will click on this save, so we will be creating the inbound delivery for this purchase order. Once the inbound delivery is saved, so you will be able to get this message that this shipping notification number was saved and it is distributed to the WMS. So you have to make note of the shipping notification number, because you have to use it in the later sessions and the later objects. So now the next step is that we have to go into the EWM system, and there we will be able to see that this is replicated, this inbound delivery notification, it is replicated there. So now what we have to do is we have to go to the EWM. So we will be logging into the EWM system. I'm just entering the credentials for it. Now we can see that we have the SCM Extended Warehouse Management. Once we will expand it, we will be able to see all the things what we can do under the Extended Warehouse Management. So once we have opened this, we have to go to the monitoring, wherein we can see the warehouse management monitor, goods receipt, workload. So all the monitoring related things we can see under the monitoring. Now if I want to check the delivery processing, that is the inbound delivery, then we have to go here and we will go click on this maintain inbound delivery notification. Once we will click on this inbound delivery notification, then we have to select the warehouse. So by default it is choosing RWH1, but if I want to change this warehouse, I can choose it from here. So I can click on the default values. So my default value is RWH1, but I can anytime go and select any other value as per my project requirement, and then I can choose this value and go back to the initial screen. Now we have to find the number. So we the finding options are the inbound delivery notification which are active, then the inbound delivery notification which are inactive. Then we can also search using the ASN or the production order or the purchase order. So now if I go to the purchase order and if I select on my purchase order, I'll copy that purchase order and select here, then perform search. So I can see that I have 9 documents with respect to this purchase order. I can check any of them from here and I can see all the details of that inbound delivery from this transaction, which is inbound delivery notification. Now the next step is once we have replicated our inbound delivery into the EWM system. So what else we can do with the inbound delivery? So my inbound delivery is basically a document containing all my data which is required for triggering and monitoring the complete inbound delivery process. So my inbound delivery process will start on receipt of my goods in the yard by raising a PO, which we just did, and then creation of inbound delivery in ERP systems. So what we have done till now is that we have raised a PO and we have created the inbound delivery in the ERP systems, and we have checked that inbound delivery notification in our EWM system. And this process will ends on transfer of the goods at the final put away, production or outbound delivery. So the uses of the inbound delivery process is that we can use it to register the delivery in the yard, for unloading the delivery, for cancelling the unloading of delivery, for placing the delivery into stock, that is called a put away, then cancelling the delivery put away, or we can use it for adjusting the delivery quantity to the quantity posted in the goods receipt. Then we can use it for adjusting the delivery quantity and transferring the quantity. So we can anytime save, validate or delete any of the inbound delivery. Now these all are the uses of the inbound delivery. So once my inbound delivery is saved and it is replicated to EWM system, so now the first step in the EWM is the yard management activity. So in this yard management activity, first of all we have to perform the CI/CO transaction. So this activity is performed at the physical checkpoint where an inbound vehicle can be identified. So it is basically helping us when the goods actually received on our warehouse. So for this we have to again logging back to the EWM, and we have to use the transaction which is called CICO. So we'll go back here. I will be running this transaction SCWM CICO in my EWM system. So basically it is helping me to check in, check out, to check the check in and check out to and from the checkpoints. So now in this we can find either using the vehicle number, the internal vehicle number, license plate number, transportation unit, internal number of the transportation unit, or the appointment number. So I will be using the transport unit to search for this. So my transport unit is 7, and I will click on this display. So now I can see that this is my vehicle number, TU number, that is the transport unit number, and this is the planned arrival date, what is the planned departure period, so all these, what is the yard bin, so all these details I can see in this check-in and check-out transaction. Now once we have seen the check-in and check-out transaction, so the next thing what we have to do is that we have to move the transport unit from checkpoint to the warehouse door. So it will contain my source yard bin and my destination yard bin, that is, it is a bin to bin transfer. Now we have another transaction which is /n SCWM /y move, that is the yard move. Then we have to enter this transaction. So in this transaction again we can we have the different options using which we can search. So I will be again using the TU, that is the transportation unit, and I will enter my transportation unit number. So now we can see that I am able to get the result for this particular transportation unit. Now in this transportation unit we can see the source yard bin, the destination yard bin, so all these details we can see under this transaction. Now once the yard movement is done, that is, we have moved the transportation unit from my checkpoint to the warehouse door. So the next step is that we have to go to creation of unloading task. So when we say the unloading task, it means that once the TU is moved to the destination, unloading activity can be initiated. So we use the transaction which is /n /scm /unload for unloading. So in this transaction again we can search using the transportation unit. So in this transaction we will be actually unloading the data which is moved to the yard in the previous step. Now once we are done with the unloading task, that is, we have entered the this transportation unit and we have seen the information. Now the next step is that we have to go to transaction /n /SCWM /RFUI. So basically this transaction is for the deconsolidation now. So now in this transaction we will be first identifying the pallets to be deconsolidated, and then we will select the open put away task. So now in this using this transaction basically we are doing the deconsolidation of the goods which we have received in the previous steps. So then we have to decide for the put away. So basically once the goods are received, that is, we did the check-in first, and then we did the unloading, then the deconsolidation, then we have to do the put away, and then as a final step we have to do a checkout task, that is, we are checking out this from the yard, and again that is done using the transaction Y move, that is, we will be going to the transaction Y move for this. So in this transaction, the similar way we did the check-in, the same way we have to do the checkout of this vehicle now. So this is the complete process of the inbound delivery. That is how we create the purchase order, how we get the inbound delivery notification in EWM, how we can then do the further warehouse management steps like the deconsolidation, put away, check-in, checkout. So all these things we have to do in the EWM. And one more thing we need to check is that when we have created a purchase order in my ECC system, but I'm not able to see that purchase order in my EWM system. So we can check the outbound queue of my ERP. So in that we can see like is there any error that has happened, or there is any other issue because of which my purchase order is not getting replicated into my inbound delivery is not getting replicated into my EWM. So for that we have the transaction which is called SMQ1. So once I will go to SMQ1 and I will enter this, so I can see that we have the client 800 using which we have logged in. Then we have the queue name. So queue name I can search from here as well. So say I want to use the queue name as star, but generally when we log in here, so it is something like delivery. So as we can see here that we have LE delivery. So we'll just go to this queue and we will be able to see all the transactions here, like what all happened here. So then using our user we can search for this and we can see whether there is any error happened or there is any status failure which is there, and we can check what is the exact reason. So this is basically kind of troubleshooting. Like say if my inbound delivery notification is not getting replicated into my EWM system, so I can use this outbound queue in my ECC system to see whether there is any issue or something wrong happened. So this is the complete process of the inbound delivery using the SAP EWM. Thank you.